Now to the fast-moving developments in Ukraine. The White House with harsh words for President Putin, with Russian troops on the move inside Ukraine. Reports of 2 explosions on the Crimean Peninsula. That's the area of Ukraine at the center of all of this. Secretary of State John Kerry now traveling to Kiev Tuesday. Kerry telling ABC News Russia's actions are a, quote, brazen act of aggression, an incredible act, and that tonight the White House is considering all options. President Putin, however, defiant, telling President Obama he has the right to protect Russia's interests. More on that 90-minute phone call between Presidents Obama and Putin in just a moment. But first, ABC's chief foreign correspondent Terry Moran in Ukraine for us tonight. Terry.
David, all day long, Russia tightened its grip here and raised the stakes.
By sea, the Russian Navy poured in more forces. On the roads, Russian troops were on the move. On the border between Crimea and the rest of Ukraine, Russian soldiers were spotted digging trenches, a sign they're here to stay. And nearby, in Russia itself, full-scale military exercises were underway, ominously. For Ukraine's new prime minister, it was all too much.
We are on the brink of the disaster.
In Kiev, the Ukrainian government put its military on high alert and mobilized its forces for war. But Russia now totally controls this key part of Ukraine, the Crimean Peninsula, where there is strong popular support for Russia and where the Russian Navy has based ships for 2 centuries. Some of the local pro-Russian forces took over government buildings and trashed them. At NATO headquarters in Brussels, a sharp demand.
Russia must stop its military activities and its threats.
But at the Privolnoye Ukrainian military base here in Crimea, that wasn't happening. Hundreds of Russian soldiers surrounded the base in utter silence.
Why are you here?
Just a few feet away, behind the gate, Ukrainian soldiers. The Russian forces have demanded that they surrender their weapons. They've refused.
You will stay here? No comment.
But the wife of one of the Ukrainian soldiers, now trapped in this eerie standoff, she is desperate. We are hostages, she tells me. The families, the kids, the wives, we're all worried about the orders that they will get from either side to shoot. It's horrible.
As Russia ratchets up the pressure here, the danger is that the slightest spark, a panicked young soldier opening fire, a protester killed, could touch off a major war. Nobody wants that. But right now, there is absolutely no sign of any way out of this crisis. David?
Terry Moran, thank you. I want to bring in ABC's chief global affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz tonight, working her sources on this as well. And Martha, it seems a shift in tone here with Secretary Kerry now saying all options on the table, and now his trip.
Absolutely, David. There have been so many warnings hurled at Russia during this incredibly intense standoff. Warnings that there will be consequences, there will be costs. On this week, Secretary of State John Kerry with very strong words for Vladimir Putin.
Russia has engaged in a military act of aggression against another country, and it has huge risks. It's a 19th century act in the 21st century. The president is currently considering all options. They're all on the table.
All on the table. And what more are we learning about that hour-and-a-half phone call between President Obama and President Putin?
He did spend 90 minutes on the phone telling Putin to pull his forces back. But that phone call, in fact, none of the warnings seems to have done any good. Putin has sent in reinforcements, a senior administration official just a short time ago saying that Russian troops are clearly settling in. So right now you have the Russians occupying Crimea, and what the U.S. and allies have done in response is to basically just cancel several meetings. There is talk of canceling the G8 summit or kicking Russia out, but that does not seem to scare Vladimir Putin, David.
At least not yet. Martha Raddatz tonight. Martha, thank you.